It's a truth of business, Airbnb or otherwise. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. But with Airbnb, it gets worse because you have expenses. If you don't have customers, you will quickly lose money and eventually have to close up shop. Here's what to do if you're not getting bookings. 8 strategies to revitalize your listing, make your offer more appealing, and to get back in search results. Ultimately, winning you more bookings and possibly at a higher price point, taking you from the red into the black with your Airbnb. This is Sean Rocky Geach with Airbnb Automated, and let's talk about how to get you more bookings. Welcome back, Airbnb family. These 8 strategies will get you more bookings, and I'm going to order them in level of difficulty / level of commitment or permanence. Some of these are going to be super simple to implement. They're just going to be a couple of small changes. Some of them will require some deep thought. Some might even require a little bit of investment. And this will really depend on why you're not getting bookings, which ones that you'll implement. But by the end of this video, you should understand why you're not getting bookings, because you're going to squarely look at a couple of these and go, oh my God, of course, that's exactly why I'm not getting bookings. And then you can hit the ground and run with these solutions. Number 1, let's talk about your booking rules. It could very well be that you just have some things that make it hard to book your space. A lot of hosts will implement a 2-day, 3-day, 4-day minimum stay, maybe just on the weekends, and this can work in your favor until you forget to take that off for last minute bookings. I, in many videos, tell you don't use a minimum night stay and instead jack up your rates so you stay in search all the time. And I do recommend that, but if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. What I'm going to recommend that you do, though, if you have a minimum night stay, shut that thing off about 3 weeks out. So you've done everything that you can to fill up your calendar with 2-day, 3-day, or 4-day stays by creating that minimum. But now, if you don't have any bookings, that is probably one of the main reasons why you're not getting bookings. I was doing market research, I believe in Las Vegas, and there were homes that were big houses, and some were completely full and some were not getting any bookings. And one of the ones that I thought would otherwise be a leader in the city because of all the amenities and everything that it offered, it had a 4-day minimum, and it had basically 10% of the activity of a listing that did not have a 4-day minimum in its same category. So this one does affect your bookings. Now you can leave it on for the future to try to get the best bookings first. We all believe in that. And then last minute, shut that minimum night stay off using what's called a rule set. You can use a rule set and make your minimum night stay 1 day and apply it to all dates in your calendar. All right, and number 2, this one can be also easy. It's just a change on your Airbnb settings. This is about your fee structure. You may have a $200 cleaning fee or a $125 cleaning fee for your 2-bedroom house, or a $70 cleaning fee for your 1-bedroom or studio. Now, good on you if you don't have a minimum night stay, but this also prevents somebody from booking for a night or two, because when they see your listing price and then they see this gigantic cleaning fee, it could deter people from booking. I've been A/B testing no cleaning fee, or a $40 cleaning fee, or $32 cleaning fee, and I'll tell you that for a studio or 1-bedroom, $36 is about as high as you can comfortably go to not influence your last minute bookings. Right? You can have a higher cleaning fee for further out, and longer stays won't mind as much, but 36 is good, and I'll tell you that 20 is actually bad. The problem with a $20 cleaning fee is it gives you no advantages of a cleaning fee, and it still gives you the same hurdles of a cleaning fee, if at all. So I'd set it somewhere in the 30s, low 30s if you have a studio or 1-bedroom, and my rule is basically $35 per bedroom is how I set my cleaning fees. Now, if you think cleaning fees is an obstacle, what you can do is you can actually try not using a cleaning fee at all, shut that off, and use a different pricing strategy that involves not having a cleaning fee. That one will allow you to decide if it's better for your type of listing just to say, hey, it's $75 or $110 a night, and when somebody goes to book, there's no inertia or secondary decisions that they have to make. They can just decide they like your home, see the 110, click, oh, Airbnb fees, okay, that's cool too, click, 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 and done. You can do that, and it may just work for you. Let's move on. Let's get somewhere else in Cartagena to get into number 3. All right, day 2, Cartagena, because breakfast yesterday took forever, and now we're shooting the rest of this. So outfit change, but number 3 for what you can do to get more bookings. You're going to focus on your title and your thumbnail photo, otherwise known as your hero photo. This is something that you don't have to take new photos to accomplish, so don't worry about it. Your title should be SEO heavy, which means you can show up in Google search if you do it right, but it also has to be attractive. It has to flow in a way that people will want to read your title and want to click on your title. See, your title and your thumbnail are pretty much the first line of marketing for your listing before somebody decides if they're going to click on it. So these are the 2 things that you can change to get more clicks. So I'm going to show you examples of titles that we've written for our listing. You'll notice that we talk a lot about having king beds when we have them. We talk about being near something of importance. We try our best to make sure that they flow naturally, that they don't look like a bunch of SEO jargon or SEO garble, so that way people can like read it and it like flows off the tongue and people click. We like to include what's free, but we like to not state the obvious. See, obvious would be that it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Right? That's something that I tend to not want to like eat up my listings title real estate on. But the fact that there's free coffee, free parking, they may not have known that. They may not have been searching for it, but that could be a value add that in the title they're like, oh wow, I would actually like some free parking or some free, fast Wi-Fi or a pool. These are cool extras. I didn't know that this would happen. You put that in the title so that way your thumbnail photo can communicate whatever it needs to communicate and the title communicates other things to be included. Your thumbnail should be well composed. It should have good color balance. It should be nice and clear and professional seeming, and it should be inviting to get people to click on your space. Airbnb, if you look on their homepage, about 20% of all photos include water. A lot of their photos have this like very specific wood and blue color combination that comes from the water, but it also comes from, I guess, how the homes are designed, and there's a lot of natural wood in the photos. But Airbnb likes to push photos that show natural wood and show water. There is a high percentage of them that are outdoor shots, so a lot of times it's not actually even the living room that they're showing you. So water, outdoor shots are mixed in well. This orange and blue color mix that we'll show you, those are all important. If you can't get shots like this from your home specifically, you can go dig up some stock photos of your neighborhood. Like in Houston, for example, you can use the Toyota Center or George R. Brown or the Bayou or Memorial Hermit or anything that is relevant to your listings offering, but this allows you to pretty much reach in the stock photo bank and pull somebody else's photos out and use it for your own. Now, this allows you to get extra photos for free. You don't have to take these professional photos, but they're available for you to use in there. And try changing out these thumbnails and see if you see any real traction by utilizing a different one. Now, I will say every single photo on Airbnb is on the high side of exposure, meaning if you look at exposure chart where 0 is black, 100 is white, a lot of the photos, all the colors are on that upper half. It's a very bright photo overall. Now, you could argue to contrast this to make sure that you stick out if everybody else is doing what everybody else is doing, but it's still best practices. So unless you have a good reason to break best practices, still keep your photo well lit all around. Number 4, we've talked about a lot, pricing strategy. I have to give this a nod even though we've got tons of videos on the topic, because pricing strategy does lead into your SEO, which we're about to talk about here soon as well. See, you may get 4 bookings a month and then have all this space in the middle. And the space in the middle that doesn't get booked is largely what's going to cost you a lot of your revenue for the month. I'll put it in, I just did a video on this. So your calendar, when it's completely open, is the most attractive for travelers as possible. As somebody staying for a month or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 days, anybody can book your space. You're the most likely to get the price you want when your calendar is completely blown wide open and nobody's booked. It's when you have bookings that get in your calendar that'll compromise how long someone could stay with you at that space that causes you have to implement a pricing strategy. So for example, if somebody's checking in 2 weeks from now on a Wednesday, then 13 days from now on a Tuesday, you should be dropping that rate probably by 35%, because it's just gonna show up so much less in search, because anybody staying that Tuesday has to check out on Wednesday. There's no way around it. By doing that, you'll increase the amount of times that when somebody sees your Tuesday that they'll book, your conversion gets higher, and it makes multiple day stays more attractive. So if somebody's staying for 5 days, includes checking out on Wednesday, dropping the price on that Tuesday makes the 5 days more attractive. And if that day was not gonna get booked anyway, because it's right next to another booking, and you commonly see that, you have what's called orphaned days. By proactively dropping that price, you prevent orphan days and you get more bookings that are flushed together, which gives you a better shot at 100%. Now, another thing you want to think about for pricing strategy is the fact that there's so many last-minute bookings on Airbnb, small groups, individuals, they all travel last minute. And you're going to see in your performance tab that there's this arc where it goes from 20% a month from now to 70, 80% today. When people arriving today, your area is 80% full. So you want to be mindful of your performance tab because results vary per area. But if you are only going to get 35% booked out of, let's say you have 10 listings, right? And so having multiple listings helps you here. If you only have 10 listings and only 3 of them are booked, and you only think that you're going to have 3 booked a day of arrival and everybody else is going to be 80% booked, you should be dropping your rates last minute.
to get full, to catch back up to the market. There's a caveat for holding out here. This happened to me mid-December in Philadelphia. There's a weekend, December 14th, 15th, where we were 30% full-ish, maybe no, we were 50% full, and the rest of the market was like 80% full. We were collecting about $40 more per night than everybody else was, and we held our prices, and that day as it came, became 100% full, and people started booking with us last minute at our prices that we wanted. So that performance tab will show you, are there unusual spikes of occupancy where a lot of people like that, you know, that 2-day stay? And that way you won't drop your prices on extremely popular dates for your area. But if the whole city is suffering from like 70% or worse, and that's the best that everybody's gonna get, and you're stuck at like 20-30%, that's when you drop your rates to catch back up to the medium of the market. Because unless the market's gonna overbook, the only way to really fill up is by, you know, giving a better deal to people. If you don't have a lot of time left, that's going to be your best strategy for last minute bookings. Number 5 is one that you may be able to do for free if you've got the furniture for it already and you're just misclassifying your home, or you might have to invest in like some rollaway beds, for example. So occupancy count, how many people you can keep at your home, has all sorts of weird secondary effects to your listing. So not only can you sleep more people, which means a bigger group can pay you more money to stay there, which they tend to want to do, but by showing up in more searches, because you can host more people, groups of 8 will find you where you normally didn't have that. Let's say your place hosts 5 people. It's a 2-bedroom house. You've got 2 queen beds and a couch. Well, if you buy some rollaway beds and make that number 8, or buy an extra queen size bed for one of the 2 bedrooms, so that you're already at 7 now, and plus 1 rollaway bed makes it 8, you go from 5 to 8, then that way groups of 8 will find you. Even if they don't want to book with you because you've raised your rates, because now you host 8, you raised your prices. Even if they don't book with you, you're still showing up in searches more, which gives you SEO boost that's good. At the rate that you've just chosen for 5, at 8 you're probably way more attractive, so if you don't change your prices, you're gonna get booked a lot more because you can host more people, because people will see that your place could sleep 8, like your place just looks better on paper, just by being able to sleep more people. Now, so aside from the SEO boost from sleeping more people and doing that, you're also putting your listing into a category of less competition. See, every listing that can host 16 people can host 4 people, right? But not every listing that can host 4 people can host 16. Make sense? So in this case, by being a bigger listing, when groups of 8 search, there's gonna be a lot less properties available. So it's easier for bigger homes to kind of meet the bill that's required in order to get a booking, because there's just less property available. More people will book your listing for larger groups because they have less options, right? So if you're having a hard time competing at your weight bracket, move up in weight class. Oddly enough, that'll work. Add some beds, increase the amount of people you can advertise you can stay, and you'll get multiple SEO, pricing, and of course supply and demand benefits. 6 is another one that you can do for free. You can simply relist your property. Let's say that you don't have good SEO, you don't have good title or description, and your photos were junk for a bit, and you didn't have a pricing strategy, and you did this for a while. Your listing is underperforming because it's got a bad year. It's got a bad track record for a while. So Airbnb's already decided that your listing's unpopular, and it's like already dropped it in search. Now, if you do everything right, you can get back up and start to get 90% occupied, where you start to get this rare find or rare gem icon on your listing and stuff when people are searching for you. But that takes a while, and it's an uphill battle. So if you don't feel like grinding it out to get to the point where your listing naturally gets good in search, you could just cut your losses and recreate your listing. That's it. So to do this, you go to the top where it says create listing, and then you select your listing and hit duplicate listing. And then the only thing you really should be careful for is when you duplicate a listing, when it shows the map of where your place is, hit the back button and check the address. With apartments especially, they like to drop the apartment number, and you might have to re-put that in there. Homes are less of an issue with this, but just check, just in case anyway. It could happen to you, and then people show up somewhere that and they'll be like, what's the apartment number? And you'll be like, oh shoot. And you can't change it. Once you create a listing, you can't go in and change the address. So by relisting, you get an SEO boost. You get the new listing boost, all right? You get that for like a month now. And so what they do is basically, in good faith, they allow you to try to prove that you're interesting, because Airbnb's algorithm, they told me, they refer to it as an interest algorithm. And so with new listings, they don't know if you're interesting yet, so they give you a month-long boost, and it gets you to the top of search for a while, and it's your job to be sticky. It's your job to get bookings, get reviews, get people to stay. Fill up your calendar 100% of the way. Getting 100% full and having a lot of views are probably the 2 main things that you really want to do to continue to spin up your SEO outside of good reviews. So those are probably the big three. So recreate your listing to get back in search fast, and then put all these practices into play, and you should stay at the top. So number 7, let's say you've recreated your listing, added a rollaway bed, changed what you plan your title to be. Well, now you should go in and do like an SEO check. And an amenities check. I'm gonna nerd out on something, but I'll keep it short, I promise. It's something called a Boolean search or a binary search, 0 and 1. You either have a pool or you don't. You either have a gym or you don't. You either have parking or you don't. You have coffee or you don't, 0 or 1. And there's a lot of these 0, 1 checkboxes on Airbnb. So when people are searching, they're gonna check things that matter to them, like instant book, entire place. They want 4 beds, even though it's a group of 4, they want 4 individual beds, like 4 guys traveling for work. They don't wanna bunk up. So these check boxes are Boolean search options. And the moment you don't qualify, you fall out of search. So what you want to do is you want to load up on these amenities. Every single amenity you can imaginally argue that you want to have it and check it and complete your listing that way. So that way you always show in search. Because remember, you want to show up, you want to be clicked on, you want to be viewed, and that leads to more SEO, right? That's enough to be said for that. Now there's other aspects of this. Your listing title should be SEO heavy or keyword heavy to show up on Google. King bed suite in near the medical center, for example. I had a listing in Houston for 3 years, and it was a 2-bedroom with 1 king bed in each room, and we called it double king suite, great for executive long-term stays, something like that. I think it was shorter because the title has a character limit. And it would show up on the first page of Google when you search for a king bed hotel in Houston. It would show up on Google first page. And that's why using keywords like king bed are so important in your title. So your title should have a natural flow though. So in the description, you can do more of this. And I would keep it all to the first 3 lines. Whatever you think will trip somebody's keyword search, if you put it in the first 3 lines, when someone shows you the preview or when Google shows you a preview of a listing, it's going to make all the keyword matches in bold. You've ever searched on Google, you've seen they're these are your keyword matches. So you need to put it at the top of the listing because it doesn't scroll down for a guest and show them the chunk that matches in paragraph 3 of your description. So put it all at the top. So free parking or stuff like that should be in the first couple of lines. So that way you seem more relevant when you do get a keyword match and they click on you because they see a lot of bold letters on Google. Cool. Now another part of showing up in search, aside from eloquently writing your description to include keywords and still be fun to read, is you should fill out the rest of it. Airbnb wants to see that you've completed your listing. You need to complete at least 4 additional text boxes outside of the description. So you've got this neighborhood, about this home, other things to note, getting around, guest access. Just fill them all out because that, again, in a way, it's going to give you a listing boost. Another thing you can do is complete the accessibility survey. Take photos of things that prove that your home is accessible for disabled persons, and that'll give you way more views because there's a huge supply and demand gap right now for accessibility. We're going to talk about that in a future video. I'm talking to Airbnb about it right now. But there's things that are too far. I do not put my cancellation policy as moderate just to get on work collection or family collection. It's not worth it. AirDNA shows data that strict cancellation policies make more money than moderate or flexible. So I stand my ground on my booking policies for strict, even though I'm not on work collection. But everything else, go nuts and fill out everything else that Airbnb wants you to do, aside from moderate cancellation policy and smart pricing. Stay away from those and you should be fine. The last one, now this could be free, could cost you money, depends on how bad it is, but you can redesign and rephotograph your space. Now it could be as easy as just moving around your furniture. It could just be that. See, you may have had a listing for a few years and it did good back when Airbnb was less popular, but now that there's more competition, there's a higher bar to meet, right? To be competitive. Now it also that your furniture is getting old and you're getting bad reviews because the place just isn't as awesome as it used to be. So if you're going to recreate your listing and your listing's a few years old, you should refresh the space. Reinvest into the stuff that's high wear and make sure that that stuff is new again. You may just need to buy a little bit of decor, add some color to your space so it doesn't look so barren or stark. And get little pops of color that'll show up in your photos so it's more attractive. So that's one thing that you can do. Rearrange your furniture, look for stuff that's high wear, dispose of it, buy new stuff if your listing's older. Make sure that you have enough decor that the photo can be lively and busy and colorful. This could be just accent pillows on your couch or the throw blanket, stuff to go on your coffee table, like little bits of art on the wall that you're missing, plants, greenery on the floor plants, tall plants. We buy the same ones from IKEA. We've got tons of them. Those things will make your photos look look better. And then of course, when you take your photos, make sure that you practice good best practices for taking your own photos if you're not gonna have a professional come in and do it for you. If your photos are not professional and there's nothing else that you can do, your listing's already well designed, etc., but it's hard to get good lighting without bringing a professional in, then yeah, hire a professional. If there's no way for you to get good photos without invoking a paid professional, you might just have to do it. But if you want to do it on your own, and you can even do it with a smartphone, you can. You just need good, even lighting. See, this camera does something called bracketing, which means it takes a dark photo, like where it only lets a little bit of light in. It takes another photo where it lets an average amount of light in, and then it takes another photo where it keeps the shutter open longer, so it gets way more light in. I can take 3 identical photos at different levels of light and mix them together and make what's called a high dynamic range photo. And I can make professional looking photos myself because I have the camera for it. And we talk about how to do bracketing and stuff like that in our course that we're about to release. But if you can't do that because you don't have a $1,000, $2,000 camera, then that's okay. You can still do it with your iPhone. What you want to do is you want to have good, even lighting. So you need enough light in the whole home, but you need to have it even, so that way when you take one photo, you don't have super bright and super dark spots. That contrast is what makes it hard for an iPhone to do its job. If you keep your lighting nice and generally high in a photo, and then it's all like evenly distributed, your camera phone will do just fine. You won't confuse it. And I recommend, if you can, shoot low, generally like 4 feet high, and then shoot across the room so you get a little bit of floor, a little bit of ceiling in your photo. You can even do pano photos with your phone to get like one really big wide photo, and then you can kind of crop in and get the perfect amount of crop to get the perfectly composed shot. It's also better to overshoot. A lot of photographers will shoot more than they need, and then they go into the editing room and choose which photos perform the best. So photo best practices, we have other videos for that on this channel as well. Combine all 8 of these and get good at all 8, and you'll be unstoppable, essentially. You will have the best listings out there. You'll always be booked, and you'll always be booked at the price you like. That's gonna be wicked awesome. So I hope you can apply these. For those of you who have any questions, because these don't squarely apply to you, a lot of you have interesting listings, leave your questions in the comments. Again, I'm in Cartagena. Sorry about the noise, like the audio quality. It's tough to shoot when you're traveling with a group. But we brought a videographer. We're introducing him. He found us on this channel. We're about to go to Medellin. I'm looking forward to showing you guys around on this trip in Colombia. But for now, thanks for watching Airbnb Automated. Remember to like, and I'll see you on the other side.